If you clicked on this video, then you likely want the short, sharp answer to this question. How many words should my 2-year-old know? And I get that, because underneath everything, often as a parent, there's the question of what's normal and should I be worried? About all kinds of aspects of child development and behaviour. And I'm gonna get to the short, sharp answer of that question. And I'm also gonna share with you why it's a question that I struggle with, and I'm gonna give you a more useful framework to think about your child's communication development. So let's get to it. So here is the answer: between 50 and 500, depending on what exactly you mean by no. And this is probably the main difficulty that I have with these very simple headline questions, is that they never capture all the complexities that are actually involved in communicating. So when it comes to knowing words, there's the ability to understand that word when someone else says it to you, and to also use that word when you want to get across your own idea. And that applies for children as well. The majority of kids typically understand more words than they are using. And so for a 2-year-old, you might find that they are understanding hundreds of words, between 2 and 500 words. But you might spot them using less than that, maybe using around 50 words. So we have different measures depending on whether you're talking about your child understanding vocabulary or using vocabulary. So those are the headlines, but you can see that that is definitely not all that there is to communication, and that's not all that your child is figuring out when they're learning to talk. I've produced a free mini workshop on this very topic for you. I'll link it below, and it lays out for you all that's involved in learning to talk, and a few of those key headlines around what you should expect at what age. And this leads me to a bugbear, a difficulty that I have in the language that we use when we're talking about how children development, and that is this word should. Does anyone ever feel good when they use the word should? Oh, I should have done that already. Oh, I really should get to that. Oh, I should be doing more. My child should be able to say more. The problem with the word should is that it is filled with all kinds of expectation about how you're not quite doing enough already. And the language that we use matters. The way that we talk about our child's development, the way that we talk about what we should be doing or could be doing, all of this kind of seeps into our mindset about what we're approaching. And so when we talk about how a child should be using 50 words by age 2, what do you do with that if your child is using no words at age 2? And this is where I'd like to give you an alternative focus for thinking about your child's communication. And that is the means, reasons, and opportunities model. So, does your child have the ability to communicate their message? Do they have a reason to communicate? And do they have an opportunity to communicate? The ability to communicate might include them gesturing or making a sound that you recognize as a particular word, or bringing you an object. All of that is the ability to communicate their message, and that includes words as well. Then, do they have the reason to communicate? Are they getting everything that they need without even raising an eyebrow? Or do they have situations where they do want to get a message across and they do want to make a choice or ask for something that's out of reach? Then we have the opportunities. Are there points in the day where they are with an available adult who can respond to and notice their tiny attempts to communicate? This is something that we dig into in a lot more detail within the Toddler Talk program, and my special group edition for parents starts in less than 2 weeks. It would be lovely if you'd like to join us, so check out the link below. And I want you to know, if your child is using 5 words, if your child is communicating by taking your hand or bringing you an object, all of that is valid, beautiful communication. And we don't always have to think about where they should be. We can think about where they are, what's going well for them, and what might be next. Thank you very much for joining me. Stick at it. Every one of those tiny steps that you're taking together is a step in the right direction. Let me know how you get on. I'm always interested. And until next time, I'll see you around.